If you have a child who, you feel like, okay, they know their letters. I've been reading to them all the time. We read tons of books. Why are they still having to sound out every word? Why do they get to a word and they immediately just go, okay, at, cat, and, og, dog. They're kind of stuck in this phase where they are sounding out every word. How can you help them move into more fluent reading? If that is you, you're in the right place, my friend. You are in good company. I'm so excited to talk about this because it's a huge step, and it's a very important one and a very exciting one. Very exciting for you, but more importantly, very exciting for our kids. When they can make that leap to more fluent reading, you're going to watch their little light bulbs just go, they're going to be so excited. And if you've ever dealt with your child complaining to you about reading, fighting with you about homework, dragging their feet when you're like, we got to do our 20 minutes of reading. And they're like, no, I don't want to. Or can you just read to me? Oh, that one. Can you just read it to me? I don't want to read. If any of that applies to you, this is going to help. Because when we can give kids the skills to become a more fluent reader, they can start to enjoy it more. I mean, think about it for yourself. When's the last time you tried to do something that it felt hard for you? Did you enjoy it while it felt hard? Maybe not. Maybe it was like, oh, I really don't want to do this. I know for me, it's like paying taxes. I really don't want to do this. But then once it's done, it's like, okay, thank heavens, that's done. I feel so much better. And this is not like paying taxes, so don't worry. But right now, your child might be in the stage where it still feels kind of hard for them. They still have to put a lot of effort into figuring out what the words are. And that might be holding them back from really enjoying the process of reading. It might be causing them to fight you on it or cry about it or roll their eyes or whatever it is you're experiencing. And we can really help with that. And sorry, my iPad just turned off. There we go. We can help with that when we can go through this quick recipe and get them more fluent with their reading. It's so exciting. And this is something parents can absolutely do at home. Teachers can obviously do at school. Like, this is something all of us can do to help our kids. I like to call this the quick as a snap recipe. I'm going to have some like recipe metaphors in here. One, because I love sweets and like cake. So we're going to talk about cake a little bit here because I literally love cake. Anyways, our goal, this is the metaphor we're going with, okay? Our goal with our kiddos is to turn them into, ooh, this is so bad. I'm going to try to go fast. Automatic, or we want to get them to a place where they are doing automatic word reading. Hence why I call it quick as a snap. This is what I say to kids is we want to get you reading these words quick as a snap. We want to get to a place where your brain doesn't have to put that much energy into the words that you're reading. And this is the two ingredients that you need. You might be going, what, two? There's only two ingredients we need? There are two ingredients we need if we want to turn our kids into quick as snap readers, aka fluent readers. Here, let's make this a little better. The first ingredients that are so important. Sounds. Your child needs to be able to hear sounds in words to be a fluent reader. This is kind of like, think of an ingredient in a cake that you don't think about much, like maybe baking soda. Like, you don't think about it much, right? You don't think about the baking soda. You don't really taste it. It's kind of hidden in there. But without that ingredient, your cake is not going to be as good. I can't think for the life of me what the job of baking soda is, but you probably know. Does it make it fluffier? I don't know. But without that ingredient, it does not taste as good. But it's kind of hidden. The sounds, or the official teacher word for this is phonemic awareness. Phonemic awareness. Without phonemic awareness, or being aware of the sound structure of our language, that impacts the why. Why should these letters be in this order? Why do I need these letters? It's what helps letters actually stick in our brain is knowing the sound structure. When we're going to spell words, we need to know what sounds are in what order to determine how to spell those words. When we're going to make these words automatic for our kids, having that web of knowledge of how these sounds work, that is where the spelling is going to stick, where they can look at a word and they can read it quickly. So that is one of the most important ingredients. I'm going to attempt to draw an ear. Let's see. I think it goes something like that. That's like my little ear. That's an ear. So being able to hear sounds and words, break words into sounds, put sounds together, make words, that is absolutely essential part of the equation. So we have phonemic awareness. And you know what? I'm not even going to write phonemic awareness. I'm just going to write sounds. We're going to go with the simple one. Knowing the sounds of words. The other ingredient that is so important is that your child knows phonics. So phonics is going to be, do they know their basic letters? Do they know so A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Do they know their letter combinations? Do they know that CH spells ch? Do they know that OA spells O? Do they know that OI spells oi, oi, oi? That's my favorite sound. Oi, oi, oi. That's how I teach it to kids. They love it. Do they know those things? Can they look at a letter or a letter combination and quickly tell you what the sound is? Do they know what letters go together? Those are two essential ingredients that you need to be an automatic word reader. Now, there's one more element that I want to throw in here that makes this and I'm going to use gray here. This is how these two are going to combine to become. We're going to use our whisk. This is a whisk. I'm kind of covering stuff up. That's okay. Let me erase this part. The part that too many people want to skip over or rush. I spelled it wrong, didn't I? Repetition. Talking and spelling is hard for me, apparently. Repetition is kind of that secret ingredient too. Because so many people want their kids to just, let's practice this letter once. Let's just listen for these sounds one time and we're good to go. But here's the thing. We need that cake batter to be as smooth as possible for it to be a delicious cake. And some kids, going with this metaphor, they're going to have a smooth batter pretty quickly. Some kids, they need a lot of repetition to smooth out that batter. For them to master sounds, for them to master phonics, their letters and their letter combinations, it's going to take a lot of repetitions for some kids, especially those who have dyslexia, ADHD, autism, or neurodivergent kids. They need more repetition than a typical child. And here's how the equation goes. This is part of our little recipe. When we have sounds times phonics, and then we give them the repetition they need, that is when we are creating automatic word reading, which is AKA fluency, fluent readers, when they're going from sounding out every word to reading a word quick as a snap. If your child seems to be stuck in that sounding out phase, something is missing here. Because I chose multiplication on purpose. It was very purposeful. And let me move my face up here for a minute. Very purposeful. Because if we are missing any of these elements, when you have 0 anywhere in element, let's say they have a really hard time hearing sounds, but you know what? They did memorize their letters and we've been practicing it for a while. But that 0 in there, what does it do for our fluency? Puts it back at 0. And you could do that for anything. Maybe they are really good at hearing sounds, but you know what? They're missing half their letters. So they only have half their letters. But I'm giving them a lot of repetition. Well, what's that going to be? That's still going to be 0.5. They're still only at a 0.5 for their fluency. And that's about the best math I can do with the multiplication. But you see my drift. If they are low in any of these categories, you know what? I've taught them their sounds. I've taught them their phonics. But we kind of just moved on. We kind of just did it. And then I moved on to the next thing and moved on to the next thing and not giving them the repetition they need to smooth out that batter or to master these things. Your fluency is going to be impacted. So our job, and when families come to work with us in Miss Muddy Reads, we figure out what part of this equation is missing for your child that seems to make them stuck. Are they not mastered hearing the sounds yet? Have they not mastered their phonics? Maybe there are still some combinations or some basic letters that they need help with. Maybe they've been introduced to it, so they're aware of them, but it's not to a point of mastery where they know these things quick as a snap. So if you show them an OA, maybe they'll have to sit there for a little while. OA, I've seen it before. I know I've heard it. Maybe is it A, O, is it O? That right there, okay. They figured out the sound. They have been exposed to it, but they haven't had the repetition to know, oh, A spells O. So that's where we work with families to figure out what part of this equation needs the most help. And it might not be what you expect. You might think they've been taught the phonics and they just need repetition, but maybe they've never been explicitly taught these things. You might think they can break words into sounds. And let me tell you something, especially as your kids get older, that is the number one thing holding our older kids back who struggle because people are less aware of it. Like I said, it's the baking soda. It's less obvious. It's more obvious that they don't know a letter. It's more obvious because they might not be able to write the letter, or they might always miss that letter in that word. It's less obvious with the sounds, but it's actually the thing that holds so many kids back. So you might be surprised that, oh my gosh, this is actually the part of the equation that my child does need, and I didn't even know it. This is what's holding them back. So that is our recipe. It's actually super duper simple. And when you know what to look for and you know how to assess for it, when you know what part of the equation is missing, you can make such amazing gains in a really short amount of time. Seriously. Now I want to take a second from parent to parent because I am a parent. I'm a parent of a neurodivergent child. I know the struggles that we go through to try to make sure our kids have everything they need, right? Like there's so much on parents' plates. We have to know about the school things, but we have to know about the clothes and the activities and the friends and the feeding and the sleeping, all the things. We have all the things. Feels like a lot. And all of us, if you're here with me right now, I know with 100% certainty, you care deeply about your child's future. And you want your child to have a great future. You wouldn't take your time to be with me to learn about this if you didn't. So I know that you're an excellent parent who loves your kids and will do what it takes to make sure they have a great future. Let's talk about their future for 1 minute here. Did you know this is something, okay, rewind. This is something I like to call the 4 futures. The 4 futures is something that helps me. I actually do this kind of frequently with my own kids. It just helps me recalibrate. It helps me see that I'm on the right path. Because right now, this line right here, let's do this black line. That's right now. Okay, that's today. Your child is sitting on one of these 4 lines, the green, the yellow, the pink, the red. The green means, and you know what? I want to make sure we're talking about education right now. Right now, we're talking about reading, education. That's our focus in this conversation. When your child's on the green line, it means they're excelling. It means they are at grade level, maybe above grade level. They love reading. They don't fight with you about it. They are really interested. They seem to be making gains. You get great notes from teachers, good grades, all these things. You see this bright future for your kids. They're excelling with it. The yellow line is what I call a reluctant reader, because this is the kiddo that they're doing pretty good. You know, they're super smart. They're growing, but it's kind of slow. They might resist you a little bit. I don't want to read, Mom. I don't want to do homework. Mom, do I have to go to school? I have a tummy ache. Can I stay home from school, please? They're kind of reluctant, but you know, they're not too bad. They're not too bad, right? Down here, the pink is what I call our struggling reader. Struggling means they're not on track. You know, there's gaps that they have. You're maybe unsure of why. Like, why are they struggling? Why is this hard for them? They're resisting. This is where you're kind of starting to notice it's influencing other things at school, like their math. All of a sudden they're having math problems where they are struggling, even though they love math and they said they love it, they're getting word problems now. And now they're getting stuck on math because the word problems or reading the instructions. You're starting to see it impacting other things. You're starting to see they are resisting going to school. Their confidence in other areas of their lives, it's starting to get impacted. And then the red one, I don't want to spend too much time down here, but we got to acknowledge that our lost reader is there. This is the child that's very far behind. This is the child that will fight you, like physically fight you. I've talked to parents who have kids that throw books at them, that run away, that it's a lot of drama, a lot of fear from both the children and the parents. And this is kind of like the red alarm, like we got to do something today. Now, your child is on one of these. And again, if you are here watching me, I know for a fact we want our kids to be on the green. We want our kids to be excelling. We don't want them to fight. We want them to see how great they are. Because as you notice with the 4 futures, the lines right now today are as close as they are ever going to be. What starts to happen when we wait and wait, the lines get further and further apart. It gets more and more challenging to move our child up to the next line. So if your child's on a yellow right now, helping them get to green today is going to be the easiest it's ever going to be. It's only going to get harder and harder. If they're on a pink or a red, it's only going to get harder and harder to get them to move up. Like I said, I like to do this exercise with my own children, and I like to think about which line are they on today? What can I do today to move them closer to the line above it? And if they're on the excelling one, what can I do today to keep them there? Because they're not stuck there for life just because they're there right now. So what can I do? What actions can I take to keep them on that green line? Or if they're on the yellow or the pink or the red, what can I do to move them up to the next line? And taking action today is imperative with that. Now, I want you to walk away with an action of what you can do. Okay, we've covered a lot. We've done the recipe, the 4 futures. I want to show you this though, because I know you can handle it. I know you can handle this. This is our triangle of success for families who want their kids to be at grade level. If you would like to help them at home, and if you want something that takes about 10 minutes. If that is something that sounds good to you, like, oh, I want them at grade level, I'd love to do it at home, and yeah, to take 10 minutes, oh yeah, baby, sign me up. I want to talk about how we can make that happen. Because there's 3 things you need, and this will happen. This can happen for your child. Even if they're on that red line, we can do this. We can do it. The first thing that you need to figure out is to answer this question. What is holding them back? And I also like to call this one skills. Kind of what we went through above. What part of that equation maybe is not quite where it needs to be? I want you to take a second. I want you to rate yourself. And rate your child and rate yourself. There's no good or bad answer. Are you green? My kid's great with skills. They know their phonemic awareness. They know the sounds. They know the letters. They know the phonics. They're fluently reading. They're understanding. We're great with skills. Yellow is like, this is something we could work a little on. Red is like, I know this is an area we need to work on. And rate yourself. No judgment. If you're a red, that's okay. Noticing it is the first step to helping fix it. The next thing, why do they resist? If you have a child who's reluctant, they're on that yellow line maybe. Maybe you're going, why do they resist? Why do they fight me? Why do they avoid it? Why do they say they have tummy aches? Why do they need to go to the bathroom every time I say it's time to read? This, I'm going to put confidence. Your child needs confidence, whether it's in themselves, if it's in confidence in why they should be doing this, confidence in the fact that you can help them. They need some confidence. That internal growth mindset part. Rate yourself. Are you red? Or excuse me, are you green? Let's start with green. Like, my child never fights me on this. They don't resist. They love reading. They love to read to me. They love when I read to them. It's not an issue. Yellow is like, depends on the day. Red is, we really need to work on this. And then the final part at the bottom is, how do I help? You as a parent, again, you are here watching this right now. You're involved. You care. You're devoted to your child's future. But you might not be sure what to do. You might be going, what's the steps I should be taking to help them? And this is where resources come in. I'm also going to put support. resources and support. Right now, rate yourself. Green is like, I know exactly what to do to help my child. I know what resources to use. I know how to find support, who I can ask questions to. Yellow is like, I think I know some of it. There might be stuff for me to know. I'm not quite sure. Red is like, oh, I need this. I'm not sure how to help them. I don't know who to turn to. This is an area we could improve with. And then think for yourself, what were you for all three? What is the one you want to focus on first? Let's focus on one first. Do you want to focus on finding the right skills for them? Do you want to focus on building their confidence, your confidence? Do you want to focus on finding the right resources and support? And let me tell you right now, I mentioned Miss Buddy Reads before. All three sides, this is exactly what we do with families. So if you were yellow or red in any of these three sides, this is what we do. This is what we specialize in. This is our passion, is to help families discover the skills that their child needs and teach it to them in an intentional and a brain-based way. I'm obsessed with the brain. I'm obsessed with learning about the brain, teaching about the brain, and teaching in a way that actually works for the human brain. We do this with what we call it a glow and grow assessment. So we do a diagnostic assessment. We find out your child's gaps, and we give you the lessons you need to target those gaps. So we're teaching in a way that is structured. We're directly teaching the things your kids need, and it's very intentional. No guessing, no randomness. This is what your kids need. For confidence, growth mindset, man, it's huge. Showing your kids that they can, helping them stay gritty and persistent, it's huge. And also something I love to call brain love. Like I said, I love the brain. So I include it twice. Brain love is teaching them about how they learn. So I actually go ahead and teach them about how we connect the neurons in their brain. Why this exercise is important for them to try. And we do it in a super fun way too. We do it throughout, we weave it in. We have something called our get ready, get set, go. And in every lesson, there's 3 mini parts that are just a couple minutes long each. And we talk about mindset in every single mini lesson. We review skills that they need to make it really stick and help with that brain love. And then we teach them new things in every single lesson. It's amazing. And then finally, resources and support. You need something. If you are a parent of a child, you need something that is quick. You need something that is simple. You need something that is fun. Your child is not going to sit through boring, right? Like they're going to fight you even more if they're like, oh my gosh, this is so boring. No, that's why we use humor. We use goofiness. Miss Buddy becomes their teacher and teaches them in a way that's going to make their eyeballs go, this lady's weird, but man, I'm sure learning a lot. And we use something called our 3x10 method, where if you can commit to 3 learning times, but for 10 minutes, 10 minutes, you can do it while you make your coffee. You can do it on the way to school in the car. You can do it anywhere. Because it's so simple, all you do is hit play. You hit play, I am the teacher. You don't have to be the teacher. You can remain mom or dad. You can remain, keep that relationship so good because you don't have to turn it into this teacher form of yourself. You could just be their cheerleader and tell them how amazing they're doing, and I can teach them. And all you do is hit play. Now, if any of this at all is intriguing to you, I want you to check out Miss Buddy Reads. I want you to check it out. You get access, unlimited access to, now we're almost at 600 mini lessons. 600. You won't do all 600, don't worry. We're going to use those assessments, find the ones your child needs. You hit play, I teach them, and we get your kids reading. Now, a traditional tutor costs $100 to $150 per hour. We wanted to create something that is much more accessible for families. And that is why we ask for $37 a month for the whole family. So if you have more than one child, they all can participate. So that covers the whole family. It is $37 a month. So like one trip to Applebee's, basically, I think of, is what you get the entire month. You get all the lessons. You get printable games. You get activities. You get experts on your team. I haven't mentioned Laura yet. Laura is the other half of Developing Readers. She is our family success specialist. Her whole job is to make sure your child learns. So if you're sitting there going, does this really work? Yes, because you get me teaching your child. I'm the one interacting with your child. And you get Laura working alongside you. You get an expert guiding your way the entire time. And because we want to thank you for taking this 25 minutes so far with me, we're including a couple bonuses. So any family who joins right now is going to get 100 plus decodable brochures. This is huge for skill building. You're watching this because you want to take your child from sounding out to fluent reading, to words snapping out there. This will do it. This is a tool that you're going to keep the rest of your life. You can use it over and over for every single one of the lessons. That is going to help them go beyond just sounding out words, okay? It's very structured. It goes with our lessons beautifully. You're going to get that today for free. It's normally valued at $47. You're getting it today for free. We're also going to include our high frequency word helper. This is a lifetime access to this mini course that directly teaches high frequency words, aka sight words, to your child, because that's a huge part of becoming a more fluent reader, is being able to read high frequency words, these words that pop up a lot. So I am going through and teaching specific words. So if your child needs the word of, you can go to the word of and I will teach it to them. The word was, I will teach it to them. The word above, whatever, I'm just thinking of random words, I'm going to teach it to them. You don't have to worry about it. If they've been stuck on this word forever, I got you. This is normally worth $97. You're going to get lifetime access today for $0. You're getting this as a bonus, as a thank you for being here and for trying this out. We are so dedicated to helping you and to helping your child become a fluent reader, that we want you to take these, use them as much as you need, however you need to, for $37. I forgot to mention also, we do have a 30-day guarantee. So if within the first 30 days you don't see growth, if you've done the work and you've done your 3 lessons for 10 minutes, so 30 minutes for the whole week, and you don't see any growth, you can have your $37 back. For real life. So you can try this out for the price of a meal at an Applebee's for your whole family for an entire month. You can see how easy, how quick, how simple learning can be. And you can watch your kids build their confidence, build their skills in a way that feels so good for the whole family. Now, we have had 2,500 families go through Miss Buddy Reads in the last 2 years. 2,500 all around the world. And we've heard things like, my child just graduated out of reading intervention. My child's back to grade level. My child went from 15 words per minute to 98 words per minute. My child and I had our first positive experience reading together in a very long time. Yesterday, a mom told me she wanted to come through the computer and give me a hug because she's finally laughing and having fun with her daughter over a book. Like, I might start crying right now. It's amazing. I want that for you. And if your child is struggling at all with sounding out words, with reading fluently, with spelling, with their confidence at school, this could be a life changer for them. So before we go, would it be worth it for $37 to see if this is a solution for your family? Is it worth the $37 to watch your child learn the skills they need, build the confidence they need, and be handed the resources that are so easy to use? Is it worth it? And if the answer is yes, I really implore you to try it out today. I can't guarantee it's always going to be $37 a month, so you might as well lock that in. And like we said before, now is the time to act. Now is the easiest time it will ever be to have your child move up one of these rings. And then hopefully, if they're down at the bottom 2, hopefully we move them up more than 1. And let's build these for your child. Thank you so much for joining me, spending your time here. I appreciate it beyond what you can know. Think right now, whether you sign up or not, what is your action step? What are you working on? When you think of the equation that we filled out, which part of that do you think your child needs? How are you going to double check that that's what they need? And thank you so much again for your time. Have a fantastic rest of your day.